rich rules over the poor, and the borrower is the slave of the lender. You know, I feel like we live in a society today where it's just like, oh, take out a loan for that or put it on the credit card, right? And this is very, very plain. The borrower, that's a hard word to say. The person who borrows money is a slave of the lender. This parable is convicting because we just live in a society of buy it and think about the consequences later. When we give credit cards to freshmen in college, to 18-year-olds, we give credit cards to them. We live in a world that tells us more things brings more happiness. Walk us through debt, and is all debt bad?
Yeah, it's a great question. I think we have to parse that, in that not all debt is necessarily bad, but there's absolutely multiple forms of very unhealthy debt. So I think the first thing I think of as far as debt is mortgages. You know, for one thing, you're borrowing money to purchase an asset that, in general, goes up in value over the long term decently. Okay, so first of all, a debt that's backed by an appreciating asset is an entirely different kind of debt than one that's backed by a depreciating asset, or one that has no intrinsic value at all. And I know that the Visa commercials tell us that the trip is priceless, right? But the trip is expensive, and if you end up...
say that too.
Yeah, exactly. So I like to just think about it. You know, if you can borrow money for 30 years and it's guaranteed at 3%, and, you know, that's tax deductible for most people, that's not really a bad thing if it can get you out of renting. Okay, but when you're going out and buying boats or cars and you're financing those things for a long period of time, that's just not optimal. And I've been told now that I saw in an article that the average car loan is financed over 72 months right now. And I'm sorry to offend anybody in the audience that has that, but that's not wise planning whatsoever. So try to minimize that. And then, of course, there's the worst debt of all, and we all know it. It's the credit cards. And the average credit card rate right now in this world of low interest rates is about 18%. So where you can make maybe 0.018% on your savings, you're getting charged 18% from the bank. And that's really where you get yourself into slavery financially.
Slave to those credit cards. You know, it's important to honor God with our money. And I know a lot of people use credit cards to pay bills online and things like that. And we're not saying that credit cards are bad. What we're saying is the debt on the credit card is a bad thing. If you can manage be self-controlled to use the money that you have and put it on the credit card and pay those off every month, that is financially and fiscally responsible. It's the interest that just will eat you alive. I have known people that are in so much debt they can't crawl out, Craig, and it's because of the credit cards, because they just charge it up, and it's a horrible feeling to know that you're not going to be able to pay that off anytime soon. Okay, so when we get on our feet and we start to put a little money away and we're feeling pretty good, saving for retirement and looking to the future, is there a rule of thumb for how we should proceed with investing, diversification, so to speak? Rule of thumb.